Jumbo, fellow adventurers, I'm Mike Dooley, here to remind you once more that your thoughts become things. And I'm going to do it today by dropping another edition of a week's worth of spiritual tune-ups. These were broadcasted live this week, my answers to fellow adventurers' questions about life, dreams, and happiness, and each one took 5, 10, or 15 minutes. We've sewn them all together for your viewing and listening enjoyment. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Jumbo, fellow adventurers, Mike Dooley, happy Monday. Time for another spiritual tune-up on a heavy topic, but above all heaviness is lightness, and we're here to live the life of our dreams. Thoughts become things. Let's talk about it. Do people sometimes end their life before their time? Specifically, Mike, you once said that all deaths are suicides. But what about suicides that we see in real life? Do we always know when and how we are going to pass? Or do people sometimes end their life before their time? Now, to qualify, I did make that comment. I was quoting the Seth material by Jane Roberts, where Seth said all deaths are suicide. Because we're all constantly, 24/7, streaming our lives into existence. And so whether we consciously and deliberately kill ourselves, or we do it without direct awareness through a disease or an ailment or an accident, all of it's ordained at a higher level by ourselves. But let's drill down and look at the difference between the kind of suicide that comes at the end of a long life through old age, natural causes, so to speak, versus a deliberate, willful intent to end your life. I want to make a point right off the bat that we live our lives and that we are therefore alive as long as we have an objective to achieve. We all come here with objectives. Sometimes it's just to love and have fun. Don't look for great meaning in this. It's just like to be, to master the art of living, to develop cooperation, patience, empathy, to have fun, to fall in love and be loved. We come here with these kind of objectives. Nothing that's not naturally or innate in all of us. We choose every single lifetime for cool, fun reasons, contrary to what our physical senses show us. And as long as the game is on, and we don't have conflicting, limiting beliefs that are denying us the ability to move forward on these objectives, then we stay alive. Once these objectives can no longer be met, perhaps due to beliefs in your body falling apart in old age, or perhaps they can no longer be met because we've become really stubborn and we refuse to consider other ways that we could live our lives in joy, then the end point is near. And this could be consciously or subconsciously. The way it most often happens is subconsciously. Our streaming manifestations are the result of a confluence, a blending and a melding of all of our thoughts, beliefs, expectations, hopes, desires, fears, loves, constantly kind of going into this funnel and streaming into an eternal now, what most approximates the summation of all of our thoughts. So if at a deep level we have conflict that completely denies our ability to express as we would like to be expressing, completely, hugely, this is quite uncommon, but if that happens, then subconsciously our inner guidance system, if you will, not through a will apart from our own, because this can always be sussed out at the conscious level, but our inner guidance system will be looking to check out through an accident, COVID, cancer, or some other way, because our objectives can no longer be met, and we've refused, in many cases, to consider plan C or none of the above. Let's move on to something new. Let's discover a new pathway. So when we have run out of options, no matter what our age, but this would generally only happen in adult years when we become really stubborn, and we can no longer achieve any of the objectives we want, the confluence of our thoughts, not through a decision, but through what is actually gurgling through your mind, dissatisfaction, unhappiness, sick and tired of it, don't want to play anymore, would look for a way out, and boom, that's all she wrote. And so that is one type of a suicide. If, on the other hand, through anger, resentment, jealousy, revenge. I remember my mother seeing a psychiatrist 40 years ago, and the psychiatrist told her that most suicides are revenge-oriented. Most people are trying to make a huge statement. A person who consciously takes a gun or jumps off of a building, they're trying to make a very loud statement of, I'll show you, I'll show you. This is not rational thinking. There could well be countless objectives that could still be met to bring this kind of, to bring happiness to this kind of person. They're not in their right state of mind. If they pull the trigger, well, you could rightly say that they did not end before their time. There was still stuff that could be done, and that's true for every single lifetime if our thoughts can accommodate it. But that they checked out, it was not before their time. They bit off more than they could chew. They were overwhelmed. On a playing field, they thought that they could rise above, because we choose the playing fields. We know the probabilities. We see the potential for heartbreak, loneliness, boredom, etc. And we see that, and we choose those lifetimes, and we choose throughout the lifetime because we know we can overcome. But if they decided to take the quick and easy way out, it could be said that they bit off more than they could chew, that they were not up to the task before them, and that they passed. It was not early. It was how things shook out. But if you are in a realm where you can assess and you can look and you can say, I think I might pull the trigger. You are alive and well enough to be able to contemplate other pathways. I could never speak forcefully enough about the folly or the foolishness or the short-sightedness of intentionally, willfully, consciously committing suicide. It achieves absolutely nothing. Do you think you're going to show them? They're going to forget about you in 3 days, okay? Do you think you're going to evade your problems? You're going to wake up on the other side and they're still there. Whatever you think you're going to accomplish through a physical, conscious, deliberate suicide, none of those objectives will be met. And much to your chagrin, when you are greeted with love and adoration and non-judgment on the other side, you will be shown that you still must face these issues yet again. And they will begin helping you plan another incarnation where you go back into the jungles of time and space, but this time with a slightly easier course load. All that time will have been lost, and in the new course load, you will never be able to replicate the opportunities and the love and the infinite possibilities that now exist in your life. You will absolutely regret it if you decide to consciously pull your trigger. And as I have said to different folks who have written me about this kind of thing, it's like, look, however facetious or silly this may seem, in the blink of an eye, you will die of natural causes. Okay, and you will be cradled in the palm of God's hand. Even if you live another 300 years, it's a blink of an eye. You're going to die anyway. So you will achieve absolutely zero if you die today versus allow it to be through natural causes. It is never as bleak as it seems. It is never as hopeless as it seems. You are overwhelmed right now, if this is something going through your head, by circumstances. You are greater than your circumstances. You are the creator of your circumstances. By definition, you are their greater. You are greater than your challenges. You are greater than your dreams. You are greater than all that you see with your physical senses. You are here and you're alive today because the confluence of your thoughts is telling you that there's still objectives to be reached. There are still bells to ring. There is still love to be had, even if you can't see it right now. I can remember the darkest ebb of my life. 21 years ago, my girlfriend was cheating on me, and my business seemed to be in ruins, and I had very limited cash flow, and I was distraught beyond words. I was not suicidal, but I was distraught. And I remember wondering if I would ever be happy again. And I would look at people happy, and I would be like, you don't know. You don't know. You're naive. It just hasn't happened to you yet. You're going down. We're all going down. It's a miserable waste of time. I would go to the grocery store and be envious of the people who were, what do they say? Naivety, being stupid is bliss. What's that called? There's an expression. Somebody will type it down. Ignorance is bliss. I'd be, it's just your ignorance that makes you happy. But I will tell you, as much as everything in my life was wrong back then, and I know that many of you have had it worse, maybe many of you are going through worse than I went through right now, but I'm telling you, that's how much it hurt. I really didn't know if I'd be happy ever again. I didn't know if I would date ever again. I was 40 years old. I thought I was so old. But with time, and it took almost a year, but I stayed busy with my life. I did what I could with what I had. Not only did happiness return, but it returned in ways unimaginable prior to the fall. Unimaginable. So much joy,